They filed guardianship before birth, and that recording, planned or panic cover up.
Sign it or walk away and never see him again. My fiance didn't even look at me when he said it, just slid the papers across the courtroom table. I'm standing in family court, hands shaking, surrounded by his parents, his lawyer, his side of the room completely full, and somehow I'm the one being told I have no claim to the baby I gave birth to. Daniel finally looks up and says it louder, for the judge this time. That's not her child. She signed her rights away. His mother nods beside him like this was always the plan, like I was just a surrogate they were done with. They're demanding I sign again to confirm it, or lose everything permanently. I don't argue. I don't cry. I just smile and slowly open my notebook. Are you sure you want me to sign? I ask quietly before I read what happened that night. His father shifts. His lawyer freezes. Daniel's confidence flickers for the first time. I turn the page, clear my throat, and from the back of the courtroom, someone suddenly says, "Wait, she's telling the truth." Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for update. The nurse froze in the doorway, one hand still on the handle, eyes flicking between all of us like she'd walked into the wrong room. "No more visitors," she started, but then she noticed Marcus. Something in her expression changed. Not confusion, recognition. Marcus didn't look at her. He kept his eyes on my parents, calm, steady, like he'd already made a decision and was just waiting for the right second to act on it. My mom recovered first, her voice tightening. "This is a private family matter." Marcus finally turned his head slowly toward her. "Exactly," he said. "So I'm not sure why you think you get to decide anything." My sister let out a small, nervous laugh, trying to grab back control. "Marcus, don't make this dramatic. We're thinking about what's best for the baby." She said, "Times the baby, not times my nephew, not times Lila's son, just the baby." Marcus's jaw flexed. He reached into his bag again, this time not stopping. My heart started pounding, not from fear, but from the shift in the room, the way my parents weren't speaking, the way my sister had taken a step back without realizing it. Even the nurse didn't interrupt this time. Marcus pulled out a thin folder and held it up between us. "You're right," he said quietly. "We should talk about what's best for him." He looked at me for a brief second, just enough for me to feel it. Then he turned the folder toward my parents and said, "Because none of you seem to understand what you've just walked into." Marcus didn't raise his voice, but somehow the room felt louder. My dad stepped forward first, frowning. "What is this supposed to be?" Marcus didn't hand the folder over. He kept it just out of reach. "Something you should have asked about before making plans for someone else's child." My mom scoffed, trying to regain control. "We times our times asking. We're stepping in because Lila can't handle this. She's barely stable as it is." I felt that hit, but Marcus didn't even glance at me. He stayed focused. "Barely stable?" he repeated, almost like he was testing the words. My sister crossed her arms, forcing a smile that didn't quite hold. "Look, no one's attacking her. We're just being realistic. I have the house, the income, the time, and the assumption," Marcus cut in, "that any of that gives you a claim." The room tightened. The nurse shifted awkwardly near the door, but didn't leave. My mom's tone hardened. "Marcus, you're overreacting. Lila needs help. This is a practical solution." "Practical," he echoed. Then he finally opened the folder. I leaned slightly, trying to see, but all I caught were printed documents, something stamped, something official. Marcus pulled one page out and held it up, not to them, to May. "Did they show you anything?" he asked. My throat felt dry. "No, they just told me." He nodded once, like that confirmed something. Then he turned the page around toward my parent. My dad's eyes scanned it quickly, then slowed. My mom leaned in beside him. Neither of them spoke. That silence, it wasn't stubborn anymore. It was uncertain. My sister stepped closer. "What is it?" she asked, her voice tighter now. My dad didn't answer her. Marcus watched all of them carefully. "Go ahead," he said. "Say it out loud." My mom's lips parted slightly, but no words came out. For the first time since they walked in, she looked unsure. My sister grabbed the edge of the paper, pulling it closer. Her eyes moved across it, and her expression changed instantly. "What is this?" she asked. Marcus didn't blink. "That," he said, "is what you should have asked about before deciding you were taking him." My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "What does it say?" I whispered. No one answered me. Not my parents, not my sister. Just Marcus finally looking back at me, calm, steady. It says, "He began." But before he could finish, my mom snapped her head up and said sharply, "Where did you get this?" My mom's voice wasn't confident anymore. It was sharp, strained. Marcus didn't hesitate. "From the place you were hoping she'd never check." The room went completely still. My dad lowered the paper slightly, like it had suddenly gotten heavier. "That's not possible," he muttered. My sister shook her head, forcing a laugh that didn't land. "Okay, what is this? Some kind of scare tactic? Because this is ridiculous." Marcus didn't even look at her. "Read the name," he said. She did. And whatever she saw made her go quiet. I pushed myself up slightly in the hospital bed, ignoring the ache in my body. "Can someone tell me what's going on?" No one answered. Marcus stepped closer to me now, lowering his voice just enough that it felt like it was meant only for me, but everyone else could still hear. "They filed paperwork," he said, "before you even went into labor." My stomach dropped. "What? Paperwork?" He glanced back at them. "The kind that only works if you don't know it exists." My mom finally snapped, stepping forward. "This is being twisted. We were preparing options, that's all." "Options?" Marcus repeated. "You mean contingency plans to take legal custody of a child that isn't yours?" My dad cut in, trying to steady things. "We were trying to protect him. Lila isn't in a position to raise a child right now, and you know that." I stared at him. "You decided that without even asking me?" My sister jumped in quickly, her voice urgent now. "Lila, listen, this isn't about hurting you. It's about what's best. You've been struggling for months, and we stepped in before things got worse." Before things got worse, like I was a problem waiting to happen. Marcus exhaled slowly, then pulled out another page from the folder. "This," he said, holding it up, "is the application your sister submitted." My sister's head snapped toward him. "You weren't supposed to." She stopped herself too late. The words just hung there. My chest tightened. "Application. For what?" Marcus didn't soften it. "Guardianship." The word hit like something physical. "No," I said immediately, shaking my head. "No, that's not. There's no way." My mom stepped in again, faster now, like she needed control back. "It wasn't finalized. Nothing was finalized. We were just making sure there was a safety net." "A safety net you didn't tell her about," Marcus said. My dad's voice dropped. "We were going to." "When?" Marcus shot back. "After you took the baby home?" Silence. That silence answered everything. I looked at my sister, really looked at her, and saw something I hadn't before. Not concern, not hesitation, expectation. Like this was already hers. "You thought this would just happen?" I asked, my voice barely steady. She didn't answer directly. "Lila, you would still be in his life." "That's not what I asked." She swallowed. Marcus stepped forward again, placing the papers back into the folder with slow, deliberate care. "This doesn't even cover the worst part," he said. Everyone froze again. My mom's face tightened. "There is no worst part. You're escalating something that—" Marcus cut her off, his tone colder now. "Then maybe you should explain," he said, "why the hospital has records of authorization forms signed before she was even conscious. The nurse by the door stiffened. My heart skipped. "What forms?" I whispered. No one moved. No one spoke. Marcus looked directly at my parents and said quietly, "Tell her what you tried to do while she was unconscious." The air in the room turned sharp like something invisible had just snapped. My mom didn't answer. My dad didn't either. They just stood there, staring at Marcus like he'd said something that wasn't supposed to exist out loud. I felt my pulse spike. "What forms?" I asked again, louder this time. My sister shook her head quickly. "Lila, it's not what it sounds like." "Then what times is times it?" I cut in. Marcus didn't step back. "It's consent," he said, or at least something made to look like it. The nurse by the door shifted again, clearly uncomfortable now. Her eyes flicked to my parents, then away. That was enough. "You knew about this?" I asked her directly. She hesitated, and that hesitation said everything. My stomach dropped. My dad finally spoke, his voice low, controlled. "You were exhausted. You needed rest. The doctor said..." "The doctor said, times what?" Marcus pressed. "That decisions had to be made." My mom jumped in. "Faster now. Routine decisions. Temporary authorization. Nothing permanent." "Then why wasn't she told?" Marcus asked. No answer. "Why weren't times told?" he added. My sister stepped forward again, her composure cracking. "Because you would have made it a bigger issue than it needed to be." A bigger issue? Like signing something for my child without me wasn't already that. I swung my legs slightly over the side of the bed, despite the pain, forcing myself upright. "What did you sign?" I demanded. My mom's voice softened suddenly, but it felt rehearsed. "Lila, sweetheart, it was just in case something happened. You were under heavy medication. We didn't want delays if..." "If what?" I said. No one filled in the blank. Marcus did. "If they needed to transfer custody immediately," he said. The words landed heavy. Too heavy. That's not "my sister started," but her voice faltered. Marcus reached back into the folder one more time, but this time he didn't pull out a paper. He pulled out his phone. "I didn't want to use this," he said. My mom's face changed instantly. "Marcus." He tapped the screen. A second later, a voice filled the room. My mom's voice. Clear, calm, unmistakable. She won't be in a state to question it. Just make sure everything's signed before she wakes up. The room went dead silent. My ears rang. I couldn't move. My sister stepped back like she'd been hit. "Wait, no, that's..." But the recording kept going. My dad's voice this time, quieter, but just as clear. "Once it's processed, it's done. She won't be able to reverse it easily." Something inside me just dropped. Marcus didn't stop the audio. He let it play. Every word, every second, until there was nothing left to deny. When it finally ended, no one spoke. No one even breathed. Marcus looked at them one last time, his voice flat now. "Do you still want to explain it?" he asked, "or should I call someone who will?" My mom's lips parted, but before she could say a single word, the nurse stepped forward and said quietly, "I think I need to report this." Everything shifted the second the nurse said it. Not loudly, not dramatically, just decisively. My mom turned to her immediately. "Let's not overreact." "This isn't overreacting," the nurse replied, more steady now. "Those are patient consent violations. If what I just heard is accurate, this has to be documented." My dad stepped in, lowering his voice like he could contain it. "We can handle this internally. There's no need to escalate." "There is," Marcus said, already unlocking his phone again, "because this isn't just internal." He stepped into the hallway without waiting for permission. I heard him say it clearly. "Yes, I need hospital administration and legal review in maternity. Now." That's when it hit them. Not the argument. Not the exposure. The consequences. My sister's composure cracked completely. Marcus, you don't need to do this. We can fix it, just talk to us. He didn't even look back. There's nothing to fix. Inside the room, everything felt heavier, real, final. My mom turned to me then, switching tactics, her voice soft again, but now it sounded different. Urgent, controlled. Lila, listen to me. This got out of hand, but it came from a good place. We were thinking about your future, about his future. I just stared at her. For his future, I repeated. My dad tried next. You've been struggling. We were scared. We thought if something happened, he'd need stability immediately. You mean times decided I wouldn't be enough, I said. No one denied it. That silence answered everything more clearly than anything they'd said all day. A few minutes later, 2 hospital administrators walked in, followed by security. The shift in authority was immediate. Questions started, direct ones. Who authorized the forms? Who was present at the time of signing? Was the patient conscious? No one could answer cleanly anymore. The nurse spoke first, carefully, but truthfully. She confirmed the sedation, the timing, the pressure. Then Marcus handed over the documents. Then the recording, and just like that, control left my parents' hands completely. My mom tried once more. You're blowing this out of proportion. One of the administrators cut her off. Ma'am, this is a serious violation. We'll need you to step outside. For the first time in my life, she didn't argue. She just stopped. My sister followed, pale, silent, no trace of that earlier confidence left. My dad hesitated a second longer, then left too. And just like that, they were gone. The room felt quieter, lighter, but I wasn't calm yet. Not until a different nurse walked in, this time carrying him. My son. She came straight to me. No hesitation, no uncertainty. Would you like to hold him? She asked gently. Like it was finally a normal question. Like it was always supposed to be my choice. My hands trembled as I took him back, holding him against my chest. He was warm, real, mine. No one reaching for him. No one deciding for me. Just silence. Marcus stepped back into the room a moment later, watching quietly. It's being handled, he said. They've already started a formal investigation. I nodded, barely able to speak. Are they? I started. They won't be able to touch anything legally, he said. Not after this. That was the part that settled something deep inside me. Not revenge, not anger, just certainty. Outside, I could still hear movement, voices, tension, but it didn't reach me the same way anymore. For the first time since I woke up after labor, I wasn't confused. I wasn't being managed. I wasn't being overruled. I looked down at my son, brushing my thumb gently across his cheek. Everything they tried to take, every decision they made without me, it stopped here. Marcus pulled a chair closer but didn't say anything else. He didn't need to. After a while, I glanced at the door where my parents had stood earlier, where they'd planned everything, where they thought I wouldn't fight back. They weren't in control anymore, and they knew it. I adjusted my hold on my son, settling him closer, feeling his steady breathing. Then, quietly, more to him than anyone else, I whispered, "No one's deciding your life for you ever again."
If your own family did this, would you forgive them or expose everything?